I know, we're a little bit late to the party, but here is the Tomb Raider trilogy collection that was recently remastered for basically current gen and last gen modern consoles. So, this collection basically it includes the 3 classic Tomb Raider games, and as you can see, we're playing on the original graphics. Now, this is Tomb Raider 1 of Laura's house, and like you can just like tell that this is definitely the old graphics. Now, we're going to switch over to the new graphics, and you can tell that stuff is a lot more fresh, a lot more detail, and all that good stuff. And before we move on from the graphics part, what you have to do is you pretty much got to press basically the start pause button in order to change graphics. Now, I know it's a little bit strange that you have to press the start pause button that you can literally just pause your game on instead of pressing select like you can on some other games like the Halo the Master Chief Collection, for an example, on the Xbox One and, the Xbox 360 with Halo Anniversary. You basically can, like, switch from old to new graphics or new to old graphics depending on how you like the game. Now, there are some people out there that honestly prefer the old graphics of Tomb Raider. Now, I'm just going to let you guys know that if you have not got this game and you were thinking about checking it out, honestly, for $30, and this is not just for like if you have only a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X, this is for basically if you have a Xbox One, PlayStation 4, or PlayStation 4 Pro, Xbox One X, you're going to be basically still with the current and graphics and such is what I'm trying to say. I know that like I screwed up right there for a second. But no matter which console you do, heck, I even think that this game was released for the Nintendo Switch. I think I could very well be wrong, but I do think that they did the remaster collection for the Nintendo Switch as well. But on the graphics modes, now, this may only appear on the PlayStation 4 Pro and Xbox One X and current gen systems, but the game is going to be playing in 4K on both graphical modes. Now, we have not played this on our Xbox Series X or PlayStation 5 due to basically storage reasons, because, I mean, you gotta think, like, the storage on both of those consoles is, like, insanely small. When you really think about 1 terabyte of storage, that's basically going to hold, like, if you count Call of Duty, you're basically only going to be able to hold, like, maybe at most 3 other games other than the newest Call of Duty on there. Maybe not even 3, probably 2. Just depending on how big that the game is, you're only going to be able to fit like a relatively small amount of games. Like we're talking like somewhere between 4 to probably at most 5. Now, I am going to admit that the Tomb Raider Remastered Trilogy is not that big, but it's still, like almost near like 10 gigabytes, I would assume, and such. So that's still a decent good bit of basically storage. But as I was saying with the graphical modes, you basically have the option if you're on a PS4 Pro or Xbox One X or a PS5 or Xbox Series X, the old graphics are going to play in 4K and still give you that nice, classic original look of the game from when it first came out in 1996, 97, and 98 for the other two as well. And the game is only going to be capped out at 30 frames a second. Now, we switch over to the new graphics mode, as you see, and you're going to get a really nice, clean, updated version at 4K. But what's nice about the new graphics is that it actually is playing at 60 frames a second at 4K and all that good stuff. Now, this could be the same, concept with the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 versions. They may only do 1080p on both versions, and the old graphics may still cap out at 30 frames a second, and the new version will cap out at 60 frames a second at 1080p. But then that might not be the case, that the new version of the graphics might only run at 30 frames a second. But I honestly don't think that that is the case. I personally don't think that this game, especially with the new redesigned graphics, will only play at 30 frames a second on even the base Xbox One. Like, this game is like so old that even with these remastered graphics, they are definitely a bit up there in terms of having the best, graphical fidelity. But because these are just so old games, you're not getting like for an example, we're talking about like Grand Theft Auto 5, Red Dead Redemption kind of style graphics. You're definitely not going to get those like real life open world genre type graphics for what you're getting with the Tomb Raider trilogy. So mostly I could see the game capping out and playing at 60 frames a second at 1080p on the new graphics. Now, another thing I forgot to mention is that there is two different controls buttons that you can change up. Now, if you press, well, I don't know what the button is on the Xbox, but if you are on a PlayStation console, for an example, like a PS4 or PS5, and you press the, very big center touchpad button on your PS4 or PS5 controller, you would go down here to controls, and you have two different types of controls. You got tank controls, and you have modern controls. Now, the tank controls is basically the old way that you're going to be playing Tomb Raider. So, like, you would have to, use one analog stick to move and to look around instead of having both analog sticks being, like, the, left one, or right one, I should say, being your basically camera-looking one, and then you got the other one to run wherever the heck you want to run. With the tank controls, you're basically only able to run if you push the analog stick up, and you have to move that exact same analog stick, being the left analog stick, basically left or right, in order to basically play the game. But there are some advantages with that, and you get to do some different jump moves. So, like, if you press the jump button and down on the same analog stick, you can get her to jump either backwards, frontwards, or left or right. Whereas on this, if I try, watch, she just immediately jumps like she's looking straight that way. So that is an advantage with the old controls, but with the new controls, it's definitely a bit better in my opinion on the modern controls. It honestly makes the game feel like, newer, like the new recent Tomb Raiders, while still keeping the old school classic Tomb Raiders and all that good stuff. But yeah, the Tomb Raider trilogy, I messed up there trying to say trilogy for a second. But yeah, Tomb Raider, the three classic Tomb Raiders, honestly, I think the developer did a very good job at remaking these games, no matter if you play on a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, you're definitely going to get still a very good classic experience that's still going to feel like the original versions of these games for the PlayStation 1, but also you'll also have modern graphics that make it look like it's a, newer version game is what I'm trying to say. Like, it'll still look like a new, modern, current generation game, even though it's not going to look like, and fancy graphics, like I was saying, with games like GTA 5, Red Dead Redemption 2, all those real life graphics. But this definitely new coat of paint definitely gives it a little bit more of like a modern style type of game for like even like we mentioned, even on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, I think you're still going to get the updated graphics and such. But I have actually been having a lot of fun with this. Now, this version that you're seeing is PlayStation 4 Pro footage, and like I mentioned, we didn't install it on our current generation Series X or PS5 due to storage reasons. Now, we are going to be getting more storage, especially for them, and our PS5 especially, here in the next few months or sometime here after a while. But until then, we're going to continue to still play most of our games, including these games, on our PlayStation 4 Pro and Xbox One X, because we got so much storage on there, and that's just what is basically making us decide to play on these, at least until we actually get more storage. But so far, I mean, the Tomb Raider games, I mean, honestly, we are in the middle of playing Tomb Raider 1 on our Xbox One X, and my goodness, the music and this, and everything like that, and we just actually switch back to the old graphics and such. But the visuals of the old graphics, and then even seeing the new graphics in a way, and just, seeing Lara Croft in her original style, like these games are just absolutely are bringing back memories, and the developer did an amazing job at remastering the three classic games, and as well as letting you decide whether if you want the newer graphics or the older graphics, and being able to play the game no matter what version you're on in 4K, rather if you're on a upgraded system compared to a base Xbox One or PS4. But if you're only on those consoles, then you're most likely going to get the same experience at, instead of 4K 1080p, you'll most likely get a 30 cap frame rate on the old graphics at 1080p, and you'll also get basically a 60 FPS cap on the new graphics at 1080p. But the new version might actually only run at 30 frames a second on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 original consoles. But other than that, if you was deciding on whether or not to get the Tomb Raider trilogy collection that they have redone, honestly, for $30 for the old school Tomb Raider collection, honestly, it's definitely a dang well worth your buck. Like, it is absolutely worth every penny. And because you get nice features, you get to still have that classic experience of Tomb Raider, and for only $30, and you have the option to choose old or new graphics, as you are seeing right now, having the option to choose either new or old graphics and such, while still maintaining the game as like its original form, while having some nice new coat of paint to make it look like a newer, current, modern game on today's modern consoles. Like, the developer did a fantastic job at remaking the classic trilogy Tomb Raider games. And I'm honestly looking forward to and hoping that they might do, games like Tomb Raider Legend and Tomb Raider Underworld that came out on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 2 back in like 2005, 2006, and 2008. Honestly, I would definitely be looking forward to getting those Tomb Raider games redone next, especially Tomb Raider Underworld. Like, that was an insanely good Tomb Raider game, and that was basically considered the next generation Tomb Raider at that time for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. So, honestly, if they ever do more Tomb Raiders, I definitely would be looking forward to getting a Tomb Raider Legend and Tomb Raider Underworld next. But other than that, for $30 for the classic trilogy of Tomb Raider, with the new graphics making it feel like a current generation game, with giving it new modern look, while also still having the old graphics and keeping the gameplay style as the original form. Honestly, $30, you definitely can't beat a trilogy remastered like these for the price. So, if you was wondering if the $30 was worth it for these 3 games, honestly, you would be surprised. Like, it's definitely worth every penny. Like, I would even consider $40 even for the remaster collection of these games would still be worth it. But hey, you only basically pay half of a price of a brand new game. Well, technically less than that now, since games are now costing $70. But yeah, $30 for these, honestly, it's definitely a very good deal, and it's probably the best, remaster game for the price in recent years, honestly. So yeah, definitely get the Tomb Raider trilogy collection if you was wondering, because honestly, it's worth every penny for the $30 that you are getting with the classic trilogy. But other than that, that is going to pretty much do it for the review of the Tomb Raider trilogy collection that we just got the other day. But other than that, this is Tech and Gaming Reviews. So, make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed this content, and also be sure to hit that subscribe button if you are new to the channel, and we will keep you posted with more future content like this going forward. And let us know in the comment section if you decide on getting this game, or if you're somebody that already has it, or if you're disappointed with the remaster trilogy, or if you're actually happy with what the developer did at remaking the 3 classic Tomb Raiders. So yeah, just let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section of the classic trilogy, if you decide to get it, or if you are disappointed, or if this helped you decide. But without further ado, that's going to pretty much do it for the video. So, Tech and Gaming Reviews, rate, comment, subscribe, and we will see you on the next one. So, we will catch y'all later. Peace, bud.